These three games are 40 years old, and I genuinely went back and played all of them to answer one question. Do they actually hold up today? The answer is more complicated than you think. Look, people call these games timeless classics, and I get it. Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3 basically built the entire platformer genre. But we're in 2026 now, and the question I actually want to answer isn't are these historically important? Obviously they are. The real question is if you sat down and played them today, cold, no nostalgia, would you actually enjoy them? I'm going to judge each one honestly. What holds up, what doesn't, and what my real verdict is. And I'll warn you, one of my takes is going to annoy a lot of people in the comments. We're going to all three in release order because that's the only way this makes sense. Let's go. Let's start with the one that started everything, Super Mario Bros. 1 from 1985. The game that basically rescued the entire video game industry from the Great Crash. Before this, retailers were sending video game cartridges back to manufacturers because nobody wanted them. Then Super Mario Bros. 1 came out bundled with the NES and sold 40 million copies. It didn't just save Nintendo, it saved the entire medium. That's the weight this game carries. And when you actually sit down and play it, the core feel is still remarkable. Run, jump, stomp. Miyamoto got those fundamentals so right in 1985 that Nintendo has basically been refining the same formula ever since. World 1-1 is still one of the greatest pieces of game design ever made. It teaches you how to play without saying a single word. The mushroom is placed exactly where a curious player would find it. The Goomba walks straight at you. Everything is intuitive before you even realize you're being taught. But here's my honest take. Super Mario Bros. 1 is genuinely hard to enjoy cold in 2026 if you didn't grow up with it. And the reason is the difficulty structure. There's no save system, limited continues, no map, no guidance, fall into a pit in World 7.
Oh my...
And you're basically starting the whole game over. The game was built for a world where you rented the same cartridge every weekend and slowly burned the layouts into your memory. Nobody plays anything like that anymore. The later worlds, 6, 7, 8, are generally brutal in a way that doesn't feel designed so much as deliberately punishing. The underwater levels are awkward. The Hammer Bros in World 8 are still one of the most infuriating things Nintendo ever put in a game. And without the muscle memory that comes from playing it as a kid, it stops feeling challenging and starts feeling cheap. That said, if you go in treating it as a 45-minute historical document rather than a modern game, there is still something real in there. World 1 through 4 holds up beautifully. The controls are still tight. The sound design, those 8 bits, still hit somewhere deep. Okay, so Super Mario Bros. 1 is a tough sell today. Super Mario Bros. 2 has a completely different problem, and this one is going to start a war in the comments. Alright, now let's talk about Super Mario Bros. 2, because this game has a secret, and that secret actually matters when you're judging it. Here's what most casual players don't know. This was not originally a Mario game. Nintendo took a Japanese title called Doki Doki Panic, a game made for a Fuji TV promotion, put Mario characters over the top of it and shipped it to the West. Why? Because the real Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2 known was considered too hard, and too similar to Super Mario Bros. 1 for Western audiences. So what we got instead was a full reskin of a completely different game. Wart replaced Bowser, Birdo replaced the Koopas, Subcon replaced the Mushroom Kingdom. Does that make it bad? No. And this is where I want to be precise, because this is the take people get wrong. Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually a good platformer on its own terms. 4 playable characters who all feel meaningfully different. Peach floats, Luigi jumps high but slides, Toad is fast but has weak throws, and Mario is the balanced all-rounder. Choosing your character per level actually adds a layer of strategy that the original never had. That kind of character variety was genuinely ahead of its time in 1988. The vegetable pooling mechanic is weird but wildly satisfying. The level design has real creativity. There are moments of genuine inspiration in there, especially in the middle worlds. The boss fights against Birdo are repetitive but have a rhythm to them. And the whole game has a dreamlike, slightly surreal atmosphere that actually fits the "it was all a dream" ending perfectly once you know it was always a different game pretending to be something else. But does it feel like a Mario game? Honestly, no. And I don't think that's controversial if you're being precise about it. No Goombas, no flagpoles, no coins that do anything meaningful. The way you interact with enemies is completely different. You pick up things and throw them instead of stomping. It plays like a different game because it is a different game. And I think being honest about that is more useful than pretending the costume is real. The good news, if you're new to all three and you want the most forgiving entry point, Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually it. The difficulty is more measured, the character variety keeps it interesting, and you don't need to memorize anything to make progress. Just don't go in expecting traditional Mario, because you won't find it here. And then there's Super Mario Bros. 3. And this is where I stopped having caveats entirely. Super Mario Bros. 3 from the 1990s. I'll just say it. This game holds up completely. No asterisks, no caveats, no for its time. This is one of the best platformers ever made. Full stop. And it would still be if you released it tomorrow. Let's start with what Super Mario Bros. 3 figured out that nobody else had. The world map. Before Super Mario Bros. 3, Mario games were just a level select screen. You beat a stage, you move to the next one. Super Mario Bros. 3 turned that into an actual journey. Each world has its own overworld map with secrets, hidden paths, toad houses with power-ups, and Hammer Bros roaming around that you could avoid or fight. It gave the game a sense of place and progression that made you feel like you're actually going somewhere, not just loading another stage. Then there are the power-ups. The Super Leaf gives you the Tanuki suit. You can fly, you can turn into a statue, you can swipe enemies with your tail. The Frog suit changes how you move entirely. Slow and land, incredibly powerful underwater. The Hammer Bros suit turns into a projectile machine. These aren't just cosmetic upgrades, they change how you think about every level you enter. You're not just getting a fire flower, you're getting a tool that opens up completely different approaches. The level design is where Super Mario Bros. 3 really separates itself from everything else in this trilogy. Each of the 8 worlds has a completely distinct identity. The Giant Land, where everything is oversized. The Ice Land, where the ground slides under you. The Pipe Land, where every exit leads somewhere unexpected. And within each world, the individual levels have moments of genuine brilliance. There are levels that scroll automatically, levels that take place entirely on moving platforms, levels that flip your expectations every 30 seconds. Miyamoto and his team were clearly having fun, and you feel it in every stage. The boss fights, the Koopa Kids, actually feel like events. Each one has a different personality, a different pattern, a different room. And compared to the completely flat boss battles in Super Mario Bros. 1, this was a revolution. And the final Bowser fight is still one of the most satisfying endings in Nintendo history. The only genuine criticism I'd give Super Mario Bros. 3 is the same one I'd give Super Mario Bros. 1. No save system on the original NES cartridge. You can use your warp whistles to skip worlds, but if you turn the console off, you start it off. On the NES, that was just the reality of the hardware. But on Nintendo Switch Online, save states solve this completely. There is now literally no barrier between a new player and the full Super Mario Bros. 3 experience. If I had to hand one of these three to someone who'd never touched an NES before, it's Super Mario Bros. 3. No conversation. It's the most complete, the most creative, and the most fun to play in long sessions. Super Mario Bros. 3 isn't just the best of the three. It's the game that proves the NES era could produce something genuinely timeless. Other games, Odyssey, Wonder, Galaxy, they all have these games' fingerprints on them. This is where the DNA was written. So, is the NES Mario trilogy still enjoyable 40 years later? The first game is historically essential, but genuinely difficult to enjoy cold in 2026. Play to understand where everything started. Just don't expect it to be easy or forgiving, because it won't be. Super Mario Bros. 2 is a good game wearing a Mario costume. Enjoy it for what it actually is, not what the box says it is. And Super Mario Bros. 3, this one is a masterpiece. Play it first, play it last, play it whenever. It holds up completely. My recommended order, if you've never touched any of them, start with 1 to respect the history. Move straight to 3 if you want to fall in love with the series, and treat 2 as the bonus track once you've done both. Which of these 3 do you think aged the best? Drop it in the comments. And if you want me to rank every single NES Mario level from worst to best, like this video and let's make it happen. I was David. Bye. Have a nice day.